Hello, everyone. We're very excited today to have our guest, Jamie Hillburn, is with us today. And I'm going to, first of all, let her introduce herself to you. And then we're going to talk about a topic that's very touching, very personal, and very real today in our space, in our world. So, Jamie, let us know a little bit about you. Where do you reside now? Are you still in Ellis County?
Yes.
Okay, so you're in Ellis County. How many children?
Six altogether.
Six
Yeah.
children. She looks great.
Yeah.
Looks great. What are their age range? Now, this is a tricky question.
26.
Oh,
Christian's 26. Logan's 23.
okay.
Brady is 20.
I can't believe they're that
Finley
old now.
is 7. And the boys, Ryder and Finnick, are both 5.
Wow. Wow. So from 26 to 5.
Yes.
Okay.
We have a nice little family 6-pack there.
Okay.
And
How many boys? How many girls?
we have 4 boys and 2 girls. I'm a great boy mom.
Oh, yes.
We're still
Yes.
learning on the girl mom.
Yes. I feel you there. I feel you there. And they will teach you throughout the
Oh, yeah.
time period. The girls, are very, they take leadership. They're secretaries, they answer your telephone, they're in your business.
Yeah.
They're starting to read who's calling, when phone's ringing, it's like, Mom, so-and-so's on the phone. Okay, thank you. Can you give it to me now? So great. And of course, we have Sam back with us. So thank you, Sam, for joining us once again.
So happy to be here. I love this.
Yes. So, Jamie, today we're going to talk about anxiety, depression, and mom guilt. Ugh. Those are 3 things. If you're a woman and you have children, and if you just know children, I know you felt all of those things before just by being a human being. It's real feelings we go through. We don't, like to talk about it a lot. So let's get into it.
It is definitely a very hard topic to discuss. Some of us are older and grew up in a generation where we didn't discuss feelings.
Right.
And so learning that our feelings are valid and that it's okay to talk to people about them is a hard road to follow. God has taught us that it's okay. He talks about anxiety all throughout the Bible, and we just have to stop and listen to it and learn to be okay with the people who don't think that it's okay and the people who are right there with you and going, hey, that's me too. Because most of the time in situations like this, if you speak up, people know what you're talking about. They're just as afraid to say it as you are. And so opening up about it is not only therapeutic for yourself, but it helps everyone else too. And it opens the door to the conversation, which is what most people need. It's just the conversation.
Yeah. Right. Let's get into that conversation. And I recall as you were talking, I hadn't thought about this until this moment. I remember one of my sons when they went off to college, the very first year, and if he's listening to this, he's probably putting his head down right now because he knows that we're talking about anxiety. I remember the phone call. He called me, and the question was, Mom, do we have anyone in our family who suffers from anxiety? You all, I was floored with the question alone because he's a freshman in college. He's a boy. And I thought he was just checking in. This is our weekly check-in. We're just checking in on the phone, not texting. We're talking. And he asked that question, does anyone in the family suffer with anxiety? And I had to really say, okay, God, how do I answer this? Suffer, is my son suffering? That was the first, feeling as a mom. Oh my gosh, what is he going through? Then it was like, okay, God, give me the words to say. I want to say the right answer because he's not here with me. I can't grab him. I can't hold him. He's there. What is he thinking? I watch a lot of TV. So everything's going through my mind. And I had to say, well, son, it's not just our family or a particular person. I feel that everyone can suffer with anxiety at some time or another. What's going on?
Yeah.
So let's talk about anxiety. What is anxiety? Because like he was wondering, is this a feeling, anxiety feeling that I'm, really feeling? Is it called anxiety? What's going on?
Yeah. And I think that people have a hard time with describing that because it looks so different for
Right.
everyone.
That's
So
true.
my anxiety may not look like yours.
Mhm.
There are some people that can't get out of bed. There's
Right.
some people that put a smile on their face and go to work and pretend that everything's okay. And people's the way people deal with it is different. So it's hard to just look at somebody and go, hey, they're
Right.
suffering and we don't even know it. And most people don't want to tell you because I don't want my burdens to become yours.
Right.
You know, that's
Right.
why it's so important, especially in our foster and adoptive situations, to have that support system and have people that you can open up to that are going to look at you with zero judgment
Right.
and know, hey, I've done that. Like I've been there. There's been days that I couldn't get out of bed. There's been days that I just didn't have the energy to talk to people. And you know what? Some days, there's days that you're just not able to parent and you have to go, you know what? I need help today.
Yeah.
Right.
All of which are very valid and very open and need to be discussed because it's when people hide from those
Right.
that it becomes a problem.
Become very
And-
dangerous.
And it
For
becomes
help.
part of your identity. If you allow these feelings and these difficulties, a lot of times we'll wrap our identity in how we showed up that day. And when we know that our identity is in Christ and it's not in how we showed up, because sometimes I can show up and I can be great all day, and sometimes I've already failed before I've had my morning coffee. And so if we're wrapped up in how we behave, that's who we are, we have to flip that on its head. We have to understand that our identity is in Christ, and how we showed up is maybe poor today, and we can always redeem those situations through seeking forgiveness, through acknowledging that we failed, through having those conversations with our kids, because they learn from that as well, because God can redeem all of it, which is beautiful. So just being honest and real with our kids, even with these emotions, because when they see that we can be honest about that with them, they learn how to regulate. They learn how to in a healthy way, cope with those same struggles, and because they have them too.
Exactly. And I will say from my own personal experience with my older three kids, I was in that hide everything. Everything has to be perfect. You know, let's go through the mom role. And like I wasn't taking care of myself. Everything I did, I poured into them because that's what I believed I was supposed to do.
Right.
And it wasn't until they were grown that I was like, hey, I should have told them when I made mistakes, and I should have let them know that, not made it their burden,
Yeah.
but explained and had the conversation with them that was like, you know what, today I wasn't at my best
Right.
and you deserve that, right? But I couldn't do that, and that's okay, because then it tells them, you know what, at the end of the day, I made a mistake. Tomorrow's a new day. We go on. And I wish that I had paid attention to that then. And my daughter actually let me, I mean, in on that. And she has walked through this last year with me with way more strength than I have, right?
Right.
For me, and taught me so much. And I wish I'd had those conversations. But now I can with the younger ones. I'm like, we don't hide from this. We have good days, we have bad days, and that's okay. And we're going to show up tomorrow and we're going to start all over. And in this particular, in the foster care system, if you think about it, foster parents have the least amount of control over anything. I mean, we are just kind of told what to do.
Right.
And we have guidelines and rules, and we know that going in. But a lot of anxiety comes from the what ifs and the control that you don't have. And so it makes it even heightened when in a situation where your life, you know, when you sign on the paper,
Right.
when they bring you these precious children, that I don't have any control here. And you kind of have to, and I did not go into this, you know, I didn't go into it with this mentality. I had to learn it, but, and just tell God, okay, whatever it is I'm supposed to do here, just lead me, you know. And I had a friend teach me and tell me that to stop trying to do God's job. All of my worry and all of my want and control over situations, that's me putting myself in his position, and that's not my job.
Right.
And honestly, it's been one of the most freeing things
Mm-hmm.
is to just be able, because now I'm not saying it doesn't happen because it does all the
Right.
time, but I can take a step
Right.
back and go,
Mhm.
you know what? This one's not mine.
Right.
All I can do is pray for it. And
It gives you permission
Yeah.
to surrender.
yes,
To completely surrender to God, to say, you know what? Hold on. This situation is large. I see that this situation seems impossible. This situation is very frustrating. Wait a minute, hold on. God can handle that.
Mhm.
I don't have to, it don't have to be on my shoulders alone. I don't have to figure out the outcome of it. I don't have to do all this. All I have to do is wait, let God handle it, let him lead me, and he'll tell me which steps to take. And you know what? God is such a wonderful God, so patient with us, and so faithful to us that even if we make a mistake,
Mhm.
he's going to still make sure that everything comes from the good of those who gives him the glory. It's not, and that's what we have to recognize, not for everybody, but those who believe and trust in him and have faith in him. He's going to make sure that this situation is taken care of. And one thing that I've learned is that he's going to take care of his children.
Absolutely.
He gives us these, even our own children that we actually birth,
Yep.
they're his. You know, they're not. And when I came to that revelation that, what? These are not, Lord, you love them more than I can ever love them? Yeah.
Especially when they become adults, that's when you kind of have
Oh,
to.
gosh.
Well, that's when you kind of have to learn, or when you learn it, is
Mhm.
because when you no longer have control over
Right.
parts of their lives, all you
Yes.
can do is sit back, pray,
Mm-hmm.
check their locations, because thank God we still share them. Because sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and you just want to know that your babies are all at home.
Exactly.
And so it's okay for us to check, but at the end of the day, it's not my job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did my job. And did I do it perfectly? No.
Right.
But I did it to the best of my ability. And this second round, we're doing it with a lot more experience. And so that I'm grateful for.
It's hard, even with our foster children and our adopted children.
Yeah.
You know, just knowing, okay, they were going to court. This case is coming up. They're going on a visitation tomorrow. What would I deal with afterwards? You know, and you talk about that anxiety part with that. And then let's talk about how the children and if the children are affected by that.
They are,
Mhm.
in more ways than we can tell. I mean, than we understand, because they feel it. So if we are unchecked, basically, and
Right.
we leave it, open, and we don't deal with it, then our frustration levels are high and our anxiety levels are high, which is an okay feeling. But at the same time, you have to think, how is this going to affect everyone else?
Right.
And so, like with our three, we have to be very careful, because I have one that can't deal with overstimulation, right? So
Mhm.
you can't raise your voice or get loud or anything like that with him, because then you're dealing with his anxiety.
Right.
And so it's just, even down to, like, they can just tell that something is off,
Yeah.
even without raised voices or anything
Right.
like that. They have a feeling, they know, hey, mom's not feeling so great today, or
Mhm.
dad, because I mean, it's not just women, but and everybody has a bad day, and that's fine. But you acknowledge it and explain it to them, and that way they understand it as well.
And but through your experience, Jamie, if we're struggling with recognizing feelings and dealing with them all the time, then how do we then teach our children to do the same? What are some things that you've noticed through your journey of just identifying feelings, and even with dealing with your grown children through the young children? How do you teach the young ones now to recognize their feelings and to work through those?
Well, I mean, obviously I go to God first.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different tools, and whatever, there's so many different programs and so many different places that you can go to talk to people.
Mhm.
I know therapy has a negative connotation sometimes. I personally love it, and I'm not sure I will never not go,
Right.
I mean, or ever not go. But people and their experiences, that's what we need to hear. We need to know what you used. It may not work for me, but at least it gives me a tool to try, because it's all about putting tools in our toolbox, right? And so I think once we do that, or journaling, I do that every day too. And I have a frustration journal that I either end or start the day, depending on how the day went, so that frustration is left in yesterday. It doesn't start with today. Today we start with gratitude. Like this is, and so we have a frustration list, we have a gratitude list, and then we journal, because a lot of times just getting it out, whether it's verbally or in writing, can be so therapeutic in itself, because you're giving it your existence, basically, right? It's here, it's in writing, or it's verbal if you go to therapy, or however it is you choose to do it. But acknowledging that, because if you don't acknowledge it, you can't explain it. And so to have a conversation and sit down and be eye to eye with a 5-year-old who's in the middle of a meltdown, you have to be able to stay calm and look at him and go, you know what? It's okay that we're feeling like this today. We're going to take a minute. We're going to take a few deep breaths.
That's good.
Do you want to go outside? Because that's fresh air is perfect. And we're going to take a minute. We're going to calm down. And that's what we do for him. And that's what works. But that's what works for him. You know, it doesn't work for everyone. And I think you just have to find what works for that child and for that adult as well. But if we can't check it, we can't explain it.
And I love that I hear you saying that we don't have to have all the answers.
Oh no,
we don't have to have all.
I
the
never
answers.
will.
Okay. So that's a relief, because many of us out here, we don't have the answers. But I love that you're saying talking about it and just doing what we're doing right now helps to know that you're not the only one that's feeling this way, you know, and it's okay that the 5-year-old, you know, feels that way. We have to acknowledge their feelings, but then say, okay, now let's do something about it. Even sometimes just changing the atmosphere. You know,
we move to the patio a lot. Why? Because there's sunlight, there's vitamin D, there's fresh air. That is like our space. We're having some rough times. You're throwing a fit, you know, the rest of us aren't going to take it, but you know, you can go out there and take a minute. That's where I go to take a minute. And I think just understanding that it's okay. And I think it's funny that when we're sports moms, we're great, right? We're football moms, we're soccer moms, we're cheer moms. But the community that you get from that is what is important, right? The things that you learn and things like that. It should be no different in environments like this, where we come together and we talk about mental health and we praise. I mean, every piece of us was given to us, right? Like God made us the way we are. And so we have to celebrate that, and we have to learn to live with it. And so coming together as a community in that way too should be just as important.
That's good. That's good. And just knowing that mental health is real, and being able to say that, you know, that we have to be healthy mentally. You know, we talk a lot about physical health, and we all recognize, okay, yes, I shouldn't eat as much, or I should eat this, or I need to exercise. But we also need to do the same thing when we're talking about mental health. I need to just take a moment for myself. I need to journal.
And that's where the mom guilt comes in, is because sometimes we tend to think, oh, if I take 30 minutes to journal, to take a hot bath, to sit on the patio and just listen, because one of my favorite verses is to be still and know.
I am God.
6 kids, it is hard to sit still and listen, right? And knowing that that's just as important as anything else that you do, and honestly, more important than what you do all day, because listening and getting your direction from God can only make the day better. And so whenever you do that, whether it's at night or in the morning, I'm not putting a guideline on when you should do it, but taking the time out for yourself makes you a better mom, and makes you have the ability to provide them with way more than we could do on our own. You know, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, and in all ways submit to him. is one of my favorites because I don't know
We don't
anything.
know. We don't know.
Everything I have comes from him, right? Like if we were waiting for me to figure out all the answers, we'd still be sitting here.
Right.
And like, that's not, but like I said in the beginning, that's not my job.
Right.
And that's okay. And as moms, we try to take on the jobs for everyone, and we can't do that. We put unrealistic expectations on ourselves that we can't hold up, and then we're mad at ourselves because we've let ourselves down.
Right.
Not anyone else, just ourselves. And it's like a vicious cycle.
And I heard for the first time, I was taking a Stevie Covey class, actually. With Stevie Covey, 7 Habits, How to Affect the People. Okay, I was in one of his courses, and I said, okay, I'm going to, start taking more time for myself. Because I was in administration, and I just said, yes, I need more time for myself because I was always, at school, coming home, doing schoolwork, getting ready for the next day. So I thought in my head that it was a good idea with my 3 boys at the time. When I came home, I would go straight to my tub, take a bath, deep breathe, and then come out and deal with the children. What I didn't take into account is that my husband wasn't home. So when we rushed into the house and I disappeared for 30, 40 minutes, my oldest son just felt, oh, well, mom is mad at me. So by the time the daddy came home, and he's like, what happened today, Nikki? And I'm like, oh no, I'm feeling good. I done had my bath. And he's like, but he said that you were mad at him. I'm like, mad at him? Why? I'm feeling good. I'm ready to come out and now start my day with my children. It was a good idea. A bad plan on my part. I felt good, but it didn't make my children feel good. Yeah. So I had to readjust. And it's okay to readjust things.
And that happens every day. And I will say this, as a planner,
See,
I like to plan my life out. I have learned that you can't really do that if you put the limitations, like going to the gym. Oh, if I can't go every day at 5:30, I felt because I didn't go at 5:30.
Right.
You have to learn to adjust with what life has going on that day, because life's gonna life whether we want it to or not. Right. And so you just have to pivot and adjust every day and allow that to be okay. And again, that's a little bit about control, and I speak that from experience, but I just had to learn that, what, if today I journal in the morning, that's fine. If tomorrow I journal at night, that's fine too. I carry it with me.
Right.
Because I'm like,
whenever I can journal.
Yeah, I got 10 minutes in the car, and that's what we have, and that's okay.
Right.
No matter what it looks like. As long as we take it and we're diligent about it, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter when we do it or how we do it, as long as we do something.
See, and some of us need to hear that, because I didn't hear that on that day. I heard that I failed. Yeah. I failed my children. Now he felt that he did something wrong, if he did or not. I didn't take the time to hear what he did, because I was so focused on this is what needs to happen. It was still for good, my intentions were good, but I had to learn to readjust. Wait a minute. And it took me a week. I felt guilty and I just didn't do anything. Then, Lord was like, okay, no, you have to take your time for yourself, but we have to do it in a manner that the children it's not taken away from them. Yeah. So I adjusted to where when I first got home, I talked to them, spent that time with them, because it was just the 4 of us. And then once my husband got home, he had the same little 30, 40 minutes with them while I went to go take a bath. And then I could come out all happy, like thought I was going to do that day, before I got, stopped and said, wait a minute, what's wrong? Then I was able to kind of adjust. So life is about adjusting. Yeah. Going through that guilt will hit, but we have to change that guilt to a lesson. Yeah. Okay, what do I need to do instead of this? Because I don't want to feel guilty. I didn't want my oldest son to feel guilty because I wasn't there when he felt I should be talking, and I disappeared, So just making sure that we don't allow our guilt to impact them in a negative way.
Absolutely, because then it kind of defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do.
Right.
We're trying to pour into ourselves so that we can more positively pour into them.
Correct.
But if we make it a negative thing for them, then it doesn't work for either one of us. And that's right. I'm lucky. My kids are still little. They go to bed at 7:30. So I have from 7:30 till whatever time it is that God decides I'm going to go to sleep today, to get ready for tomorrow and do all the things that we need to do and take that time for me. Now, I do know that it's not always going to be that way, but for now, that's the life we live. Yeah. And it's okay. But not everyone's life looks like that. And you find a time that works for you. But as long as you're pouring into yourself, it gives you the ability to pour into everyone else. Because I did learn the hard way that if you don't pour into yourself, you have nothing left to give. And that realization comes in all different forms, whether it's anxiety, depression, exhaustion.
Exhaustion is real. Exhaustion will take you to all those categories.
Yes. And so if you are trying to do it or trying to take care of everyone else without taking care of yourself, you can't. And it took me a long time to learn that, because I didn't think that it was fair, to take the time for myself.
Right.
And I am the queen of I'm going to give it to God and then wait around the corner and be like, can I borrow that back a minute? Right? Like, I really think I can do that, but knowing that he's going to do it way better than I ever thought I could.
Wow.
I don't have that ability he does. And so
it's funny that you say that, because the be still and know, which is Psalm 46:10, I don't know if you've done like a word study of be still, the word that's used there. It actually has several different meanings, and one of them means surrender. It actually means to surrender. And that's one of the things that it can mean. So that verse is actually really powerful in a lot of ways. And especially since you've brought up surrender multiple times during our conversation. And so that's a theme that's in your life that clearly is from the Lord in ways that probably are unexpected. And it's beautiful. It's because surrender is a huge part of motherhood and parenting and everything that we do. You have to, because if you try to control it, it's never gonna work.
We just get in the way.
Yeah.
That's what I learned. The more I try to control it, the more we end up off path, off-roading, and those are not good adventures.
Right.
And right, like the intentional off-roading, yes, but not like this. And it's just hard. Even just saying the word surrender is hard. And to give someone else, even God, the power to do his job, means that I can't keep it. That's like, but I want to fix it, because as moms, women in general, we want to fix things. We are fixers. You have a problem. Oh, okay. Let me put a Band-Aid on it. Let me kiss your boo-boo, whatever it is. We want to fix it and make everyone's life right. And that's just not our job to do. Yeah. And I think taking the shame, the guilt, and the negative connotation on any type of mental illness, or I think taking those away will help it a lot, because I think that's why we isolate, because we have shame. Why am I feeling like this?
Right.
And we don't want to share that with other people, because I don't want people to know that I'm not perfect. And we try for that perfection so much. And honestly, in this last year, I'm just like, it's okay not to be perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. God didn't make me perfect. And that's okay. And sharing bits and pieces of yourself with other people, you don't understand how that can help them. Yeah. And you have to be willing to do that, because that's you being Christ-like for them. And that's what we're called to do. That's my job.
Right. So let's talk about some of those ways that you saw God show up, even in the midst of the mom shame, the mom guilt, the depression, the anxiety, raising grown children and young children. And yours were all babies. Now, you told us their ages now, but when you got them, you had 3 babies.
Yeah, we had
3 babies.
We had 2. I mean, they're, as far as they are concerned, they're twins. We've had them both since they left the hospital, and now they're both 5, and it's been an experience, to say the least. And they're polar opposites too. At the same time, they have their own emotions and their own personalities and their own behaviors, and but God has been with us every step of the way. He was there when we were fighting for them. He was there the day they arrived, right?
Yeah.
Because I was told, hey, we need someone to take this baby for 2 weeks. And I was like, because I was still, I'm not gonna lie, I was still, because one thing we haven't touched on is on the control part is when the kids leave and go home. And I will say the first time that happened to me, I was devastated.
Yes, yes.
And then 2 weeks later, I get a call from Nikki that says, hey, I have this tiny little human that's leaving the hospital that needs a place to stay for 2 weeks. And I'm like, I can do anything for 2 weeks, right?
And actually, you said that.
Yeah. And I was like, I got this. And then a week later, we get a call and say, hey, I have another one. I just need for 2 weeks. That was 5 years ago.
Right.
And so God knew exactly that they needed to be there.
Mhm.
And the funny thing is that everyone always gives us praise
Mhm.
as foster parents, right? And I'm like, nah,
Mhm.
that blessing was mine.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
They brought more to my life than I could ever give them,
Mhm.
right? And so I have learned a lot, good and bad, through that process.
Mhm.
And I knew that was my first real look at it's God's timing and not mine.
Mhm.
Those 2 weeks were the beginning. That was like the foot in the door. And then all of a sudden it was like, nope, that's not the route we're taking.
Mhm.
And that's okay. We're going to pivot and we're going to move on.
Yeah.
And so no matter how the story looks, and every story in foster care is different. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 6 years.
Mhm.
And you're still battling the same thing. But at the end of the day, we do our jobs and then God has to do his. And that's all we can do is our very best and do the piece of the puzzle, the tiny piece of the puzzle that we're assigned. That's it.
Right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And just trust in him.
Yeah.
Because you will learn. As a parent, I think as a adult, once we start getting into this adulthood, we start learning that it's not us. I mean, it cannot just be about us. We can't, lean on our own understanding at all because we don't understand. We don't know the future.
There's so many
We don't
unknowns.
know. We just don't know. So just leaning on God and letting him, take the wheel in every situation and drive us through this journey. We have to let him do it because the topics we talked about today are real. You're going to feel it. You're going to go through it. But as Jamie shared, with us, we first have to recognize it. We have to name it what it is, call it what it is, and then we have to, do something about it. Through our prayer and through our faith with God, knowing that he will take us through it, we have to walk it.
Yeah.
We have to take action upon it. We can't just sit on it and say it's going to go away.
Mm-mm.
Because it really didn't go away, right? It doesn't go away. It just gets bigger and bigger if we don't do something about it. So thank you, Jamie, for your time. Thank you for all the things that you do and this journey that you've been on, that you continue to be on. I'm great. It's so great to hear how your bio children can assist you through this journey because it's a family thing.
Absolutely.
You can't
We have
do it.
family meetings all the time, and everyone asks me, why do you have family meetings? And I'm like, because it doesn't just affect me.
It's good.
Everyone gets a say.
Mhm.
Now, at the end of the day, yes,
Right.
it's our decisions, but everyone should in our household that it's going to affect should get a say in that. And I do want to add, I have fallen in love with all of God's word, but Daniel 3:18, and even if not, he is still good because especially in this process and in all aspects of life, we have our outcomes that we want and things that we want and situations that we want to take care of. And at the end of the day, even if God doesn't make it happen, he's still good. It doesn't change how good he is just because we didn't get our way or we didn't get what we want. And I've really had to lean into that because we get so caught up in trying to control outcomes and trying to control people and situations that we have to sit back and go, you know what? God has a reason that this didn't happen. And that's not for me to know.
Right. And I think that he states that clearly in Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you because we're always dealing with the here and now.
Yeah.
You know, and that's our life. We're dealing with what's going on this moment, this time, how it's going to affect us today, how it affected us yesterday, or even tomorrow. But we have no idea of how the future. I know that 10 years ago, you didn't think you were going to be where you are now.
Oh, absolutely
I mean-
not. It was not on my plane, I assure you.
But God knew. God knew. And if we just take, you know, just peace in that and knowing that He knows those plans, He's gonna, you know, orchestrate all this for us. And it's okay. We're gonna have to be okay with not knowing everything. Because you know I'm a checklister like you are. We check off all these things and expect it to happen because he's so good to us. Sometimes he let us feel that it's going our way until we're like, wait a minute, what happened here, God? He's like, oh no, this is just me showing you who I am. So we have to stop and give him the glory. And
Absolutely.
I'm glad that the children are still doing well. I'm glad that they're growing, and I'm glad that you're growing while they're growing, because we can never stop growing as parents. They need us. And
it's a learning process. And I think, especially like myself in an older generation, and I say that as a person who's been asked if I was a grandparent of my children at elementary school, we want to have it all together and we can't. And we just have to be okay with, you know what, today was a learning day. Every day is a learning day.
Right.
And you just take the information it gave you today and make tomorrow better. And
you rejoice in those on those days.
Absolutely.
You know, just excited. I'm just excited some days that it's the end of the day.
Absolutely. God is good. We made it through the day.
Yes. So any just encouraging words, because it's not a hard topic, and I thank you for sharing with us. And I thank you for just being open to say, you know what, I have dealt with depression. I do deal with anxiety, you know, and I have that guilt sometimes of mom guilt and mom shame. And I'm learning to recognize it. And I love the key words that you shared with us today is that I'm learning. I'm going through the process, you know, and you're going through it with tools to help you get better, you know, each day. Anything encouraging that you can say to a parent that's maybe just started fostering, that's realizing, oh, y'all, this anxiety just walked through the door.
I would just say to make sure that you know that you don't have to do it by yourself, that you have an entire community, whether it's at the agency, at your church, whatever that community looks like for you, just don't try to do it by yourself and don't isolate yourself. Allow people to share their tools so that you can put which tools work for you in your toolbox. That would be my biggest piece of advice.
And that's awesome. And hopefully that's what we were able to accomplish today, just by sharing and getting the word out that we recognize it's real, we know it's real, and we're here with you. So thank you again for sharing your story.
For having me.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Sam.
Thank y'all. This was great. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.